because these are my first because these are my first properties, I really want to make sure that I am on top of everything. Even if it's midterm, because it will be just managing like the tenants that come in and out. But
Yeah.
like that will be definitely consultation, like making like how does that work? Do you work with someone like for all the deals, or do you like if we let me say we do the first let me say after I start prospecting in the different cities like you mentioned, and then there is a client, um like how does it work? Do you
Yeah.
are we
Oh, no,
like
I got you.
ever
So,
yeah.
so I'm gonna go through the entire agreement again because it's probably good to kind of hear it refresh so you can answer other questions. But let me start with the first thing that you mentioned. I kind of treat this agreement like you and I are in a driver education course. So you're in my driver's ed course right now. I am in the passenger seat, you're in the driver's seat, and I'm giving you those verbal cues on how to keep the car on the road. And as soon as you get enough experience and enough confidence, I can get out of the car and you can drive without me. So although we may do one deal together, maybe we'll even do two deals together. After the third deal, once you know what you're doing, you probably won't need me, and unless it's like a super big deal, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you just want to always have a second set of eyes. Okay, so that's the first, like, and the most important thing. Our agreement is
Okay.
just for you to learn how to drive the car on your own. And and I'm not necessarily trying to toot my own horn, but like what I was just sharing with a person a week ago is like I don't, you know, I don't want to say like it wasn't a good investment of money, the 10x
Yeah.
program, because I do think it was a good investment for me. It may not be a good investment for other people who've never done short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So I came in like already knowing how to do it, but I didn't know how to do it with all of the systems and all
Yeah.
of the automations.
Yeah.
But if I didn't know anything, I think sometimes 10x BNB is not so user friendly because they give you all of the information, but they don't hold your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the difference between what my JV agreement does and just a regular group is that I'm going to hold your hand through every deal until you tell me you don't need me. And then
Yeah.
because I'm holding your hand, it makes you more bold and more confident and more cocky when you, when you come across the landlords because, listen, you don't have to worry about if it works. It does work. And
Yeah.
if
I know it does.
just looking at the demand around your property
Yeah.
suggests it works. But you may not be in the right season for it to work, but it works. So, but let me go through the agreement. Does that make sense what I said in terms of how long we work together and when we
Sure.
work
Sure.
together?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna fast forward this. So this is kind of, your agency A, I'm agency B. These are the definitions that our accountants or our lawyers may not know if they've never been in the short-term rental agreement. And Article 2 talks about the purpose. And it's a mutually beneficial partnership where is the acquisition group is, you know, putting the fishing poles in the line and trying to get the fish on the hook. And the daily operation of the behind the scenes group, that's me. Once you get the fish on the hook, I get it in the boat, I get it off the hook, we clean it, we cook it, and we eat together. Okay. Beautiful picture because that's exactly all we do. Now I want to explain this, the revenue sharing. Okay. Because the revenue sharing is really a function of if you want to be hands off or if you want to be hands on. So, with respect to a higher grossing property, this is 100K. So when I think of 100K property, I think about it this way. If a property is going to gross 100K over a year, that means the owner is going to net about 80K and you and I are going to net 20K and divide them evenly. So that's cool. 10K over a year is roughly 800 to $1,000 a month. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this example, we're gonna split evenly, and although you're doing the acquisition, I'm gonna do all the hosting. Meaning what? Meaning that I'm gonna have all the systems underneath my umbrella so that you can kind of see and you don't have to learn anything on the fly. I don't mind you learning on the fly. My goal is for you to not have to make any mistakes, especially if this is a first or second deal, when it's such a large volume. Because
Yes.
there's a lot of small
Yes.
deals. There's a ton of small deals, but the whales and the super lucrative deals, there's just less, there's a lower margin of error.
Yeah.
And I don't mind you making mistakes, but if I can keep you from having to make a mistake because I got you, that would be my preference. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now there are more opportunities when the property is not such a high ticket item. And so in this case, um, although although we're still splitting 50-50, again, you're in the driver's seat, you're hosting, I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm giving you play by play. So whether you're messaging me, say, McCray, take a look at this text thread. How do I respond? And I said, okay, all right, write this and send it. I'm basically allowing you to kind of drive the bus, but I'm your GPS. That makes sense?
It does.
It does.
Isn't
Okay.
it? But for this, the second one, isn't it more of um like if 1 second, ask, sorry, I can't remember my question. If they if let me say we get the client and then I'm inquiring, but like you guide me on what to do and all of that. Is that if it's already done, let me say if it's like the first time, the first couple of times, and now everything, we already know everything is in place. Because I get the first one, I get the first one. It's more money the person is doing. Because I'm always thinking that the person who's doing the actual behind work does more than the person who's doing like the first work. I don't know if
Mhm.
that makes sense. Because the actual hosting, so you're gonna talk yourself, takes it an ongoing for everything. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
actual behind work, but
Yeah.
then the actual the beginning part is is more of a, like, the first part is the hard part. Then after things are sorted, that's like they don't have to do anything else. So I don't know like how the percentages work for that one, especially for the middle one, because that's, I think I had questions about that middle one. Um,
So in terms of percentages, the percentages are
Oh, in terms of this, it's the same percentage. Well, it's the same. Let me see. It's the same, but it looks like one is still doing more work than the other. Do you get what I mean? Like the 80% property owner, 80%, you get 10%, they get 10%. But we host, you do that. Oh, so you just switched it over?
Yeah, tell me what your confusion is.
The middle part, you just switched it over. So the first, yeah, the lower one, you host, and then the other person does like the acquisition.
Right.
And then the middle one, it switches over either if they want to do the hosting and you do the consulting. That's what I want to understand.
Yeah, so let me kind of explain it in this way.
Yeah.
It takes more work for you to teach me how to cook, especially if I don't know how to cook, than for you to cook the meal yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you already know how to cook, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. But if you're trying to teach someone how to cook, it's actually gonna be a lot more energy. So to make sure the message that you're sending is being received.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, in this situation right here, this is much easier for me to host it, and then tell you afterwards what I did. And this actually takes more energy for me to tell you what to do and why to do it, and then to actually have you do it.
Oh, okay.
But understand why this is important. Here, I'm giving you a fish. Here, I'm teaching you how to fish.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And here, the only reason that this is not, a clean 50-50 break even is because, again, it takes more energy for me to teach you how to fish. But once you know how to fish, you're good to go.
Okay. So this is per property.
This is per property. Yep.
Okay, so if we get a property and then you teach me, and then for as long as we have that property, the percentage remains the same for that specific property. It only changes if it's a different property and we want to do different on that property, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that as asking that's how you usually do it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Oh, okay, cause okay, so let's say it's specific. I can do the hosting, but if I need more of the consulting. So typically, if it's this kind of client that, let me say this lady, and she has her different properties, that would mean I get, if she wants to sit on 15%, so I get 5%, you get 10%. Is that how it works?
So if we agree to a 15, I mean, I probably could rework the numbers, but to be quite honestly, I wouldn't use her as the case study, because by the time I'm just being very straightforward, by the time
Yeah.
she circles back to you, you'll already have one or two properties underneath your belt, and you may not even need my help.
Okay, so let's say if it's a different client, and I get the client, and then the client is ready to sign the contract, and then we get down. Then I I let you know that let's work together with on this specific client. And so you would be doing, it would be, and let's say this client is 20%. If you're teaching me the hosting for that specific first client, it would be 8% for me and 12% for you, but you would be working with me for like the whole process, how to set them up, how to making sure everything is set for them, and I'm, you know, the listing and then like everything else anyway. Typically, what I need to have in what for the property, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's honestly for the beginning. I don't mind. It's not really so much about, yes, I want the return, but I just want to learn for the first listing, and not just learn because I've watched it, but learn hands-on. So it's more about that. So to understand like the if the is the aim to focus on a property that is brings in like 70,000 and above, or what's the
Of course. Yeah, of course. Think about, we have a property and it's property A. And after expenses, you and I are sharing 30,000 versus we have property B, and after expenses, you and I are sharing 15,000.
and you calculate this mostly for the year, right? You're not calculating
No,
per month.
that's a good question. Where are the numbers coming from? So the numbers are coming from when we do uh, when we do our okay, earnings statement. When I open up my B&B analyzer, the number that we're focusing on is this. So
Yeah.
the total gross for this particular property is 57K. Well, that's not bad. But then we'll do the same work and say this property, because it's just in a different location, is way more revenue.
Yeah.
So it's less about what we do, and it's less about working hard per se, but it's more about working smart. So that's why I say, part of what I'll be doing is giving you this blueprint of what areas have the best return in respect
Mhm.
to nightly rates and occupancy.
Yeah.
Because that's what we've, you know, this is not a bad property if it falls in our lap, but we would rather be working with this property.
Okay.
It makes sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I was focusing more on the occupancy and what else? What was I looking for in the report? Um, like how much more they're gonna make in that sense. Like the 2 times more is 1.5
Well, I
more.
mean, that's a good point. So you and I, as operators, are focusing on this number right here.
Okay.
From a prospecting standpoint, we care about this number because this will give us an opportunity to make the point that not only can we guarantee their monthly rental rate without having a 100% occupancy, because this is based on this number here. They can only hit this number if it's occupied 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Whereas this number they can hit if it's occupied 10 nights out of the 30 or 15 nights out of the 30. Or you get my point.
Yeah,
Okay. So we sell this, but we really care about this. That's what you and I care about.
okay.
Yeah. Because ultimately that determines I'm spending 3 hours away from my family, 3 hours away from my wife, 3 hours. What am I getting for those 3 hours? If we think
Yeah,
about hourly value. So, but
okay.
so I'm gonna circle to roles and responsibilities, even though the lines do get blurred, right? Especially when
Mhm.
I'm in teaching mode and you're in learning mode. Ultimately, it breaks down to agency B is the back office, agency A is the acquisition office.
Yeah,
Okay. Under performance clause just simply means that we are on a 90-day performance how do I say um for 90 days we are dating the landlord. The dating
yeah,
you know that after those 90 days we determine do we want to go out on another date. If we're not
yeah,
making the money, right? We're not making the money, then the answer should be no for them and no for us. Because maybe we ran these projections, and even though the projections were right, for whatever reason, we're still not getting traction. And that can be a lot of different reasons.
yeah,
The more reason than not is that the landlord is just hard to work with, to be honest. But um after that 90 days,
Okay.
we end the agreement, um, or we continue the agreement if there's an upside. But if there's no upside, we don't want to continue.
okay.
It makes sense?
Yeah, sure, it does.
Okay. All right. You're good people. I don't really worry about confidentiality so much. Um, Termination, right? So we got this amazing deal. I decide, okay, I'm working. I got another stream of income. I want to give all my energy to this. I signed a 45-day letters just saying, hey, Yvonne, after 45 days, I'm going to separate from you, which means that this property is totally your responsibility. And because you have all the responsibility, I'm entitled to none of the profits because this is what you're going to do. I'm doing something different. That's all the termination agreement means.
Okay,
It gives both of us an opportunity to walk away and do something else. Okay. All right, so that's the agreement. And then so these are the levels of support, right? So the levels of support is level one, um it was $100. I reduced it to $50. Um and so initially every month that we're working together and we don't have a deal, you're basically, you know, your tuition for that month for my one-on-one support is $50.
okay,
I could have made it more, but it's not even about the dollar amount, it's about just the mental it's I'll put it this way to you. You might be able to appreciate this, right? All right. So by day, I don't know if I told you, I'm a high school math teacher.
oh, okay.
Okay, I'm not sure if you know that, but so
No,
there's times where I work super hard tutoring and trying to break down the information so my students can pass their state exams. And there's times when they won't even go home and do the homework.
mm,
So I'm working harder than them, but ultimately they got to take the test.
yeah,
So, but what happens is when those same kids go to college, it changes, right?
Yeah,
The teacher's not going to do that if you're not really to do the homework. So
yeah.
honestly, it's not even the dollar amount. I just want you to be invested in the process as much as I'm invested.
I know
Yeah,
what you're saying because that's
yeah,
what the 10XB also is. Like, that's why you pay for it so that you're motivated to get your money back or something
right.
like that. So,
Yeah. And so after the first deal, that actually goes away. You
oh,
know,
okay.
we're working on the second deal. You and I, we're good to go. All right. So that's the first level of support. The second level of support is I actually have a community similar to the 10X B&B community, and we do weekly conference calls, and we don't just talk about, getting business. We talk about, okay, now that we got the business, how do we accelerate it? So we just had this major thing that you may or may not have heard of, where Airbnb went from a 3% to a 15% fee that all of the hosts have to own. So well, oh my God, we got to make less money. No, we're not. We're just gonna take that 15% that Airbnb passed on to us, and we're gonna pass them on to the guests by changing our percentages and hospitable. So I went through all of my
Okay.
students back office, and I showed them how to go here, go to hospitable, go to your properties, open up a property, go to pricing, go to fees, and just change these fees to correlate with the fee hike that Airbnb passed on. So I will basically like handhold you and go through all of your settings with you. And again, after the second deal, that goes away. The third level, I don't even do that anymore, right? Because people were spending a bunch of money on the B&B analyzer. And like I said, you don't need the B&B analyzer. Once you do this enough, you don't necessarily need it. Like I literally just closed a landlord last week, and I didn't even use the B&B analyzer.
Yeah.
So, and this is a monthly, I'm not mad at the company because it's really smart, but think about how much you're paying in tuition, right? And then think about if you have this, that's an additional $170 that you're giving them every month.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
No.
But if you don't have anybody holding your hand, guess what you do? You just spend the money because you're unsure of yourself and you don't want to make a mistake. So people would rather make no mistake than make the wrong mistake. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and line 13 is a signature. But at this point, um I'm open up and I'm hoping that I've cleared up everything. But if I've added another layer of questions, let me address them now. So what are you thinking?
No. I was just gonna ask for the levels if someone just speaks one.
Yeah, no, no. So most people, to be quite honest with you, either start at level 2 or level 1.
Yeah.
Level 2 is like, okay, yeah, I want to hear, you know, and I guess out of fairness to you, let me just kind of open up my community so you can kind of see some of the discourse we have back and forth. Let me share. And so so here's my community, right? So I'll post different videos that has to deal with, mindset. So it's different from being, abundant to being rich. It's different from being rich to being wealthy. And then I'll do poll questions. Okay. Then I'll post videos. A lot of times when people ask me questions, I'll just create a video.
Hey, Earl. Do you put your properties on Facebook Marketplace during the slower season to help fill vacancies?
Great question.
So instead of me just answering the question for one person, it's just easier.
Hey, Earl. What's the best way to clean your Airbnb after a pet stay so it feels like no animal was ever there?
It's just easier for me to answer the question for the whole group and just make a video. So, so it's like it's not that the 10X group doesn't do that in the Facebook group, because they do. But our group is just a little bit more intimate, and I can address people really quick.
Yeah. So I will definitely, I think that it would probably not be level 2, probably be the first one,
Okay.
first level, because right now I can't put out so much money right now because I'm just trying to do this property and I'm also looking for a job, something temporary.
Do you want to join forces November
Yeah,
15th,
I'm just
November
trying to
1st?
figure out which package that I want, but it's hard to figure out because I don't know yet what property or what kind of work. I know for sure the first deal, you'll probably be host, so that's why I'm thinking I don't know, you'll probably be host and I'll be learning because I'm just gonna finish all the videos, but I still prefer to learn in person with someone who is doing it.
Let me give you a recommendation. This is just my thought process. Instead of going through, and I'm not discouraging you from going through all the videos, but I think it's a better use of your energy and your time to do it this way. Open this up. So in addition to me working with you, and having our weekly calls, use this link, these town hall links. So every time they do a group session, this is the 10, they record them right here.
Yeah.
If I only had an hour of time, instead of going through all the modules, I would go through these because I think you're going to learn more.
Okay.
And you're going to be more confident faster.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you want me to send you this link? Do you have it already?
I think you can send it to me, though I feel like I saved it somewhere because I think my confidence is in what to do after I get the client. And that's where I really want to know, because I do know the sites Hospitable, Price Lab. I know open up an Airbnb thing, but the actual running, when the actual, what is it called? When the first contract comes in, that's definitely something that I think I'm more concerned about, because I have been talking to landlords. It's just that eventually they mentioned that they cannot do STRs because I've had like maybe 6 meetings. But like I mentioned, it's really about where I'm searching. It ends up that the ones interested in, when they see the midterm corporate term, it's because they can't actually do the STR. So I am definitely interested in after that, like after we get the first deal, to learn in like how to set up everything. Because I believe if I learn that first from the first client, then the other clients, it will be easy to navigate. So I will watch the town halls, and maybe I'll get to pick and choose on those areas that I want to learn more. Because I was thinking if I watch the modules of like the last modules that talk about setting up the listing and the hospitable and then the price lab and then all of that, maybe that will be helpful.
Right. So
Um,
I'm gonna create this DocuSign for us right now. And then I'm gonna send you the link for the town hall, and then I'm gonna send you the link there's another link I'm gonna send you. So let me at least just get this started. Hang on. I keep changing the interface. Um, why did I was just in here last month and it looks so different.
mm,
Okay, home, start, sign a document. Okay. I am old school, meaning that once I learn how to do something, sometimes I really don't want to relearn it because I just got comfortable. It's like when your cell phone says it has an update. Like, oh no, I don't want the update. I don't want things to move on my screen. Um, okay. Share. Okay, Yvonne, what's the name of your LLC? Do you have an LLC or is it just a DBA?